Online chess is similar to street chess. Online chess is distracted street chess. I just finished Saturday rated games. It did not go well. I will get to 1800 USCF. I'm young enough to where it shouldn't take me years and years, but if it does, I'm willing to do that. And then I will likely quit. The And One Street Ball Tour, which for a short time made And One competitive with the likes of Nike, was interesting. The professor is, of course, the main attraction because he's one of us. He's a short for basketball, short white guy that's pretty skilled and got to play with the best. A lot of the moves the professor and street ball players do, of course, wouldn't work even for a more naturally gifted athlete in the NBA. They're leaving the ball exposed. They're spinning. Their eyes are away from the defense too much. Dribbling up here. That's kind of what online chess is to me. Yeah, you can probably play a little bit, but you're not a real player. And I'm going to attend over the board battles every weekend until the new year. I'll try to make both weekend days if they're available, but at least one. So that's 17-ish more weekends. So roughly 34 opportunities to play chess. My online numbers are above 2,000 in all time controls. I'm not a lot better than that. I'm a little bit better. Not worth the risk of downward spiraling and being tired. One more quick thing. I saw Fabiano Caruana and Arjan Tari while I was driving in. And all the top players seem very nice. But of course, most aren't that elite. And those are the best of the best, especially Caruana. I'm tired. I dealt cards last night. I moved to St. Louis in large part for chess, though I wanted a bigger city. And it's not too far from home. My grandparents are getting older. I wouldn't mind to go live near them during their last, they're not about to die or anything, but last decade or two. I've been nothing but kind to everyone I played or learned from. Aside from social media, I'm not dramatic at all, not even animated. You have to be that way in content creation. And had I played chess since I was 4, then who knows? Maybe I'd be good enough to make a little bit of money. And I don't ask for any sympathy. I don't ask for any friends. I would appreciate if you would leave me and anyone else alone if we've not done anything to provoke or help. This was one of those days where I just felt like quitting chess, which is why I bring this up. My opponent wouldn't accept the draw because I was a girl. You know, 5 hours is a long time. Of course, I wasn't there. But what an outsider hears is the opponent was a hateful bastard because he refused to take a draw. Well, initially, I didn't know how the bishop moved. And during my first few tournaments, it took me a very long time to figure out if I was lost or not. When you do this shit, you make people who have reasons to quit already say, all right, bucket me with the jerk. Call it out. Okay. I'm tired of getting beat by kids that sit there and do puzzles all day, and then they study with the master while I have to get ready for work. And on rare occasion, they're looking at me like, "What's he doing?" I'm not saying these stories aren't true. I'm saying don't follow me on Instagram just to unfollow me. Damn it! Don't follow me on. Leave me alone. You don't have to do that bullshit. It's happened multiple times. Connect. I'm pretty kind and I like chess people. I'm impressed by them. I'll like a message, I'll comment on something, and then I'll unfollow. And after the first one, I just would do it. So they don't unfollow quickly and I know if they're genuine or not. The call it out stuff, it's going to make it to where nobody wants to touch you. I'm in the club, then I'm out. I give no one any reason to say I did something or looked at a young girl inappropriately. Because damn it, if I didn't blink for too long, I'm a pedophile. That's ridiculous. It's disgusting. And newcomers don't owe you a damn thing. Nobody invited me to a chess club when I was young. I don't even know if my area had one. And my dad tossed me a baseball when someone gave you chess lessons. Let's look at these games. Actually, I'm only going to look at one on stream because the last one, I completely just gave it away. It's not really worth looking at. And the first one, I played a athlete who was rated about 1,000, and I've been there, but it wasn't much of a game. This was the only competitive game. I took too long to figure it out. I shouldn't have been in it at all. Let's do it this way. That'll work. What's he rated? That's about what I was before I took a freaking break. That sucks since. I was 1555. I took a break thinking I would rest and get adjusted to work. I should have just kept going, kept my momentum. Because now I'm back down in the mid to high 1400s. And I'm not feeling good at the board either. So. I'm going to play this black. I generally play the Slav every chance I get. So I'm getting a little better at recognizing when I can give a pawn away in the open and it be okay or even good. This isn't a great example of that, but it kind of works for what I'm trying to show. Okay, so here, I understand that if that knight goes, I only have one defender. But apparently the computer, didn't like it. But oh, it's so bad. Going castle now. Yeah, see, now I'm just not thinking. Knight takes on c6. Yeah, and I got to get out of that habit. I really try way too hard not to trade pieces early because I'm trying to work on things. I want a lot of material on the board. Some younger kids like to force draws, which if I'm showing up to play, I don't want to draw. When they see I'm higher rated, which I think my rating still shows much higher than it actually is because, like I said, I had it way up before I took my break. So when they see my rating, they think it's easy point, or it's not easy points, but they think they can get a draw. It'll just boost their rating. Okay, and this is where I say online street chess, bad habits. These still aren't exceptional players. They're better than me by a little bit. But I've just seen that enough over the board at the lower levels, and it works online in speed chess. And those are too valuable to separate. I'm still losing, but now it's a little bit tricky. And when it gets tricky, I'm just a little bit better. I'm rated in the 2000s, and these athletes, I like to ask them what they're rated on chess.com, and usually it's not near 2000, which probably means I might be a little bit more advanced with my tactics or recognizing tactics. But every other part of their game is better right now. I survive on tactics, which is what you should do until you're really good. See, like here, okay, at this level, not everyone's going to see that even at 1500, 1600, and immediately, I know I have to do that. Which pretty simply, if I get that pawn, I have the advantage. But the bad news is I'm expecting them to misplay it. As soon as I take that, I'm expecting you to misplay it. I don't know how you're going to do it, but they just misplay it too much. So yeah, so rook d7, and I probably would have tried there. But of course, I mean, rook d7 is not the only play because my knight is cutting that off. So you can't let me get that. You'll be mated. I had a little bit too little time. A little bit behind at the start, but not much. I just thought a little too long in a couple of those earlier, which was silly because they weren't hard. But this is a 45-minute game, which is pretty short. Yeah, and you'll see. I mean, he's a good player, but there's a lot of mistakes at this level. And it went around for a little bit, and I kept my advantage until I ran out of time. And he ended up doing what he should have done, which is basically he used his knight to stop my pawn once it got there. That pawn became annoying for my bishop. And in time trouble, I didn't account for the pin there. Once the pawn came to work with the rook, so then I lost that pawn with rook check. I think some of those pawns got traded, and I was just toast. Ended up there were two pawns, and then the rook, and my bishop and rook, of course, can't defend all of it, so it all fell to pieces. But Slav, I haven't studied it a lot. It seems to offer the best parts of the Caro-Kann, but it's a little more dynamic. That's from what I've seen. See, that's just online chess bad habits. I gotta stop. I don't even know what I'm doing. And you think it would just be easy to stop. Just have a different mode in your head where you play real chess versus cheap online tricks. It's not so easy. So, of course, my advantage is that passed pawn. Not to mention my bishop will be able to do a lot to defend it. And you'll end up having to tie your resources on that side of the board. Ran out of time. Brush into the trash. Just how I like it. $15.29, it looks like. Between 15.05 and 15.29. Slightly below. Well, I guess slightly above average club player by USCF standards. I'm just going to get the open. I'm going to try some different variations of the Sicilian, but I need to just play the open Sicilian that I at least know somewhat. Don't get too fancy. What did he do? That's hard. I don't remember. Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's not right. Is that right? Then what did I do? See, man, I'm just not even awake. Because I'm so surprised that that's just such a bad idea to do that in the open, and I stopped paying attention. What am I doing? Because when the queens go off, of course, it's pretty decent. But I just figured I would have opportunity with my bishop, and I'd be better. But I didn't even look at what I should have looked at, which is the queen go to f3. It'd be a lot better. It's just terrible. Lack of focus. It's my fault. See, and that's where you just got to take a win. You can't. if you're newer, you can't castle through check. But what that means is your king can't move through check. So his king never moved through check. The rook can move through check. See, now that's just a weakening move. Has to be. It's not so bad. Yeah, and I don't want to trade. It's probably a good trade-off for there. I probably did that, which I could bet the computer likes you. See, that's poison. And how do I not win this from here? God, I don't know. I have no idea. No freaking clue. See, that's such a terrible. Oh, it's not that bad. You got to think at least 2 moves ahead and over the board a lot more. Okay. 20. No, that one wasn't there. $19. Yeah. You play G5, sure. No, my rook went H1. Yeah. See, and now I can't. I can't give you a way to. Just lazy. Because now you keep going. And now I'm not thinking. I'm giving a check, but it doesn't matter. You can move your bishop to threaten a rook, which is just going to lose you the game. You should. I don't even know what I'm doing. And it's over. See. That's why it would be better to play one good game a week than to do it tired, than to play online at night. You can't do that. You can't not think. It's terrible. Waste of the day. Yeah, Anonymous. I am thinking chess. Thanks for the acknowledgement. All right. Okay, what do we get from this stream? I'll review my games at least once per weekend, and if I'm tired or I didn't get to analyze it well, I might push 1 weekend to the next, but I'll review most of my games. And then every month I go through and I look at old games. So I'll do that on stream. That's my content. I'm not wearing myself out, trying to be funny. I'm going to work. I'm walking my dog during the week, trying to relax. Then I'm going to the club on the weekends to reach 1800. And then it's becoming a weird carrot dangling in front of me. Then I get to quit. Not a publicity stunt. too old for this. I like most of the people, but there's enough not bad apples. They're probably right. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad people or don't care about their cause, but it's not worth it. There's enough ignorance. It's ignorant. You'll never grow a game that way. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's mostly going to be a more serious review from now on, Anonymous. But it means a lot. Yeah, and if someone was mean to you, I know it's hard, and I'm not always perfect. If someone's mean to you, try not to discourage someone else. And if you are going to discourage someone else or belittle anyone, say it to their face. Don't call it out. I read the Alejandro Ramirez lawsuit, and his lawyer was correct in saying you can't let the world get to that. And of course, the counter argument, well, they should have handled it so we didn't have to. That's fair. But I promise you, the result will be young men will be watching Andrew Tate. You're going to send them right to Andrew Tate. Older men who understand that's not how life works and women aren't bimbos and stuff will simply go play pickup basketball at the YMCA. And you can be correct. And you can say, well, no, we should be able to have justice and call it out. And people should not judge us and should still want to come play chess. No, that's why you change your page from Girl Boss to Stem the Gap. Because it just sounds hateful. Everything about it is hateful. It's making assumptions about people. And I referenced Justin Herbert, who Anna Cramley did a video with. I think he's dating Madison Beer now, but let's say he gets married, but wants to go to the chess club and sees the Alejandro Ramirez case or others. He will think, like I just said, even if you're right, I don't want to be in a position where I'm suspicious and get called out because I'm married and now I'm a pedophile. That's what you do. That's what you do. And it's mostly bitter 40-year-old women or older. A lot of girls will resent you because young girls want men to think they're cute or young boys to think they're cute. And those who do want to become professionals, I don't think you're doing them any service either by proactively fighting their battles for them. Because those issues might not even arise, but you're going to have them looking for it everywhere they go. I'm going to stop now. Life is perfect. Hope you're playing some chess yourself. And I will try to keep my opinions to myself next time and just break down my games. But I'm not going to play a lot on stream. Feel free to do daily challenges. I still look at them. And if you want entertainment, go to a comedy show or watch my old videos. But my motivation is becoming get to 1,800 ASAP so I can quit.